Folks, welcome to Chapter 12, Informative Speaking. Today we're going to explain why informative speeches are important, recognize the functions of informative speeches, identify some of those main responsibilities of you as the speaker of an informative speech, and describe the types of informative speeches and discuss how we can make them interesting and engaging to our audiences. I love this quote that says, not only is there an art in knowing a thing, but also a certain art in teaching it. Informative speeches is all about disseminating information, giving a clear message, but making that learning process fascinating. It's about going beyond just the general knowledge and really giving some clear details and research behind it. When you introduce an informative speech, just think about every day we are delivering information to our family, to our friends, to the people we encounter in our different spaces. Now, the ability to give that information is essential both for personal and professional settings. And informative speeches are the most common type of speeches because we're always giving facts or looking for, again, that information that can support the different spaces and areas that we engage in. But you might be asking yourself, well, I can just Google that, or I can use AI to find that information. Yes, we do have a lot of resources to help us gather information, but A, that's not always credible, and B, there's an art form in informative speaking that helps engage an audience, make that information stick, and make it relevant to all. And Google can't just do that for us. So when you gather information, you're adapting it to your audience. You're focusing on what's relevant to the people in front of you, and you're making that information meaningful. There will never be a computer that can replace a human being in that humanistic quality that we give to our speeches and our communication every day. Now, what are the functions of informative speeches? The goal is to provide people with knowledge to help us to understand the world. We want to share or shape our perceptions by bringing issues to light, by, again, giving novel or new information that is unique to a specific topic. We want to articulate alternatives by helping listeners understand information and clarify information. And informative speaking is about our ability to survive and thrive and evolve in a community of people. And so, again, our goal as speakers is to make the topic relevant. Select a topic when we are speaking that interests us, but also is going to be relevant to our audience. When we approach a topic or an idea with enthusiasm and we're sharing information, it becomes far more engaging. And then your listeners are thinking, what's in it for me? Now, we can get lost in the maze of information provided to us digitally at our fingertips with our cell phones and our devices, but we as speakers, our job and communicators is to organize information logically, use simple and direct language that is going to be relevant to the audience, and avoid information overload because I know that can happen online. Again, the role of the speaker is to maintain subjectivity, to be engaging to the audience, to focus on that purpose, but make sure you create a specific purpose so the audience knows what your message is. And again, you're not presenting one side of a story, you're giving all sides of a situation. When you establish credibility for an informative speech, you do so before the speech begins, and you do it while it occurs as well. You're establishing your expertise. Why did you choose a topic? Why does it matter that you're talking about something? Help your audience identify with you and your purpose, and be truthful and accurate in that information. Making sure that information is up to date, unbiased, and direct is also really important and crucial in informative research. Remember, we're talking about academic information, which means that it needs to be something that's not from a blog, not something that is a personal opinion, but something that is substantiated research and backed with facts. You're going to explain that type of information all throughout. Now, there are 4 different types of informative research speeches that we're going to break down a little bit more. There's definition, demonstration, explanation, and description. And the purpose overall is to increase audience understanding, provide different viewpoints or perspectives, and raise awareness. Some examples are AI in education, so focusing on a narrower focus than just AI as a whole. Fast fashion is also a really common topic in informative speeches that has a lot of really good research behind it. Now, again, those 4 different types are listed here. I have a really great TED Talk. If you have time to watch it, it's called How to Fascinate, and it's all about how do we create messages that engage and capture people's attention, which I think is really important in informative speaking. So there's descriptive, which is painting a picture. Usually that's a specific site, a specific discovery, a place that we can imagine. Definition is, again, really narrowed focus. For example, feminism might be a good topic for a definition. Explanation is breaking down a topic or a process, and then demonstration is how to do something. If you think about YouTube's videos and TikToks, there's a lot of demonstration speeches on those platforms. So the definition is to look and clarify something more complex. Thinking about a new theory or something that you've learned in perhaps a psychology class is a really great definition speech. Making sure you define the terms and give really relevant examples is really important in this type of speech. Description is more on a place or thinking about the 5 senses and how we engage those senses in those different spaces. Think about what the location looks like and how does a person feel or what are those senses that are being evoked from the description. The other 2 are that demonstration, and that's showing the audience how to do something, how to bake cookies, how to fact check. If you choose to do this for your speech, be mindful because there's a lot of materials that go into a how-to speech, and then you want to make sure you're showing the audience something that they don't already know how to do. Explanatory speeches is how something works, and this can be breaking down the criminal justice system, breaking down different computing processes and making sure that you're making that process relevant to your audience and that you're explaining things very clearly. When you think about choosing a topic, you want to make sure it's narrowed and focused. Novel or unique. Don't just recite things that people already know. Give us new information. Draw us in and make it relevant to us. And if you think about these different spheres of influence, thinking about what you know, what you care about, and what the audience cares about too, if you can find something that fits within all those circles, it's the most powerful topic. Now, the funnel approach is starting really broad and making something really specific. And I recommend using the funnel approach when thinking about your topic and narrowing it down. Asking yourself questions about what's the part of the topic that interests me, what do I already know, what is unique for my audience to know, and how do I make it relevant is really helpful. Now, structuring your speech. Again, the organization, the argument is, again, you're not proving something or convincing people to believe something, but you're explaining why it matters. So that argumentative piece is still in an informative speech, but again, you are not talking about sides, you're not asking people to take action. And then citations, including those proper research pieces is really important as well. You want to make your speech memorable. Think about visuals, graphics, any visual aids that you can use in an informative speech can be really helpful. You want to build in repetition and appeal to different learning styles, and like I said, also use those visuals. So the key takeaways for today is informative speaking is all about clarity and relevance and also ethical responsibility. You want to make sure you're using your research effectively, you're not leaving out information, you're not choosing biased sources. Your goal is to help your audience learn, not agree with something or change their beliefs in any way. You want to make sure that you've got structure and evidence and curiosity in your speeches. And I love this quote, so I'll leave you with this. If you have knowledge, let others light their candles in it. Share what you know, and always, always ethically and responsibly engage your audience.